When I tell you that a year and a half ago, I could not run a mile, I am not exaggerating. There's footage, there's proof. I actually did do a video a couple years ago where I ran a mile a day for a week just to try to adjust to running and see if I could be up to the challenge. And I literally quit on day 5. I was like, yep, that's enough. Just the weekdays. Like, I hated it. I'm just so bored. Like, I'm just waiting for it to end. So to now be here 2 days out from my 3rd half marathon ever, and after doing a full marathon back in November, like, I wouldn't have believed you if you told me that I have come this far in such a short amount of time. I'm Jen. If you're new here, if you're not, welcome back to our community. So let's talk about my journey from 0 to 26.2 miles in 16 months while sipping on electrolytes, because we are right now 2 days out from my half marathon and I'm feeling really dehydrated, which is not a good place to be. So I'm drinking my new favorite electrolytes by Thorn. It's mango limeade flavor. And if you don't love super sweet, this is the one for you because it kind of just tastes like a lemon lime lemonade. So if you're wondering throughout, that's what I'm sipping on. It is not pee. So let's get into it. So like I said, I had never ran more than a mile, and so much so that my dad still makes fun of me to this day. He says to my fiance, what did you do to her? I used to beg her to get on the treadmill. I used to go to the gym with my dad, and he would beg me to just get on the treadmill for 10 minutes. He's like, you never do cardio. It's good for your heart. Like, trust me. And I would dread it. I couldn't do it for even 10 minutes. So how did I get here? How did I get inspired? I really think when it comes to any goal in life, you can do it as long as you have that desire to, because something that changed my life actually was in Marie Forleo's book. Her book, Everything is Figureoutable, she had said something that anytime you say you can't do something, aka I can't run, really what that word is I don't want to make the sacrifices and do what I need to do to figure it out and to get it done. You can do anything. Everything is a choice. You just need to want to make the sacrifices and want to put in the work to get it done. And that's definitely where I was at with running. I said I couldn't do it, but really, if you say you can't do something, you can. The desire just needs to be there. So when did that desire kind of show up for me? I want to say in 2023 is when my fiance ran his first marathon. And I was obsessed with the journey. I came home early from a bachelorette because he was going to be running the New York City Marathon, and I absolutely needed to be there to support him. And I just fell in love with like chasing after him and giving him the gels, and I loved it. And then we would go travel, and I hated that I couldn't just like be capable of running 5 miles with him. Like, if we're in Paris, I want to be able to like go for a 5-mile run in Paris with him. Like, that desire just started to be there to just be capable and run with my fiance. He would always beg me to run, and I said, absolutely not. I hate it. It's your thing. Goodbye. So as I would, get really into that idea of just wanting to be a capable runner, I actually had posted a TikTok, and I was just off the cuff like, guys, where are the run clubs for newbies? Like, I want to start a running club where all of us who can barely run 1 mile actually get together on the West Side Highway and try to start becoming runners. Where are my girls who like literally can't run a mile without dying, but really, really want to start from scratch? And that TikTok went viral, and I ended up starting a run club where we started to follow the Couch to 5K app together. And I just felt like I found my people who had that desire to run, but either hadn't ran in the longest time or was like me and never ran in their lives. So we would meet up, we'd do like a walk, run interval. And it was the first time in my life where I stuck with it for like more than a week because I was just having fun at this run club. And then it was funny, we kind of all started to get the bug in our own way. I think once you start to dive into the running culture and community, that interest just starts to spark. And even just seeing the smallest amount of progress, like being able to run a mile without stopping, I was like, oh, I want to be able to run 5K without stopping. Like, my goal was really to be able to go for a 5-mile run on the reg and it be no big deal because I had never even ran 1 mile before. So I would say with the club, we got up to like 3 miles, which was great. And then on my own, I started switching to the Nike Run Club app. And that is where my running journey totally took off because I started to learn how to run. That app is completely free. And if you know Coach Bennett, he is the guy on the guided run. And the reason this app is so great is because not only can you pick a plan, so I picked the Couch to 5K plan and get guidance, but you can also connect your Spotify. So I was listening to my music, and then whenever the coach would chime in, my music would like slightly lower automatically. And I just learned how to run. I learned for the first time in my life that you should not be sprinting. Running does not equal sprinting. Actually, the way to kind of tackle more distance distance and get your body comfortable with more distance without stopping is to slow down. I was like, why can't I breathe when I run? It's because I was sprinting. I was not running. Going for a run, really, when you're trying to become like equipped at distance running, is what we think of as newbies as going for a jog. You should be jogging. You should be getting your body just adjusted to holding a run for longer periods of time. And that's really what it's all about. So I would say at that point when I started following the plan is when I sneakily switched my Nike Run Club training plan to the beginner's half marathon training plan. I didn't have a race in mind. I didn't really have anything in mind. I just kind of was like, I think I just knew that I wanted to see how long I could go with this and if I would be capable of a half marathon. And at the same time, I was really into interviewing runners on my podcast. So I was doing my podcast at the time, and Grace Lee, I mean, this literally all happened live on the podcast. She is an incredible runner, and she was like, Jen, girl, you can do a half marathon. You just have to pick a date, sign up, and pick a date that scares you, and then you just follow a plan, and you'd be surprised what happens. And so it really does, again, start with that desire and that commitment to a plan. She kind of like created a half marathon training plan for me, but she would link out the guided runs on Nike Run Club. So I would say I really did my whole first half marathon via Nike Run Club, and I think it was the most incredible way to learn how to run, because I'll walk through all the ways I've trained for other races also. But interestingly enough, of all the one-on-one coaching and group coaching and personalized coaching I've experienced, they're not with you on the run. So Nike Run Club was awesome because they're coaching you through the actual run, not the training plan, not nutrition, not injury, but like actually how to run, posture, form, breathing, like the talk test. Can you hold a conversation? That is how you should be running right now. You should be able to hold a conversation. And if you can't, you should slow down. Like all of those tips I learned through Nike Run Club for free. So I couldn't recommend that enough. And at this point, Ethan and I already had a trip planned to watch him on his marathon in Philly, and there's a half marathon the day before that, the same weekend. His marathon Sunday, there's a half marathon in Philly that Saturday. We were going to be there anyway, so I was like, you know what? I think it was like 5 months away or something like that, and I was like, it's too perfect. I got to do it. So I used Nike Run Club. I trained for the half, and I did it without a pace in mind or anything. And I just felt so accomplished. I was like, I can literally do anything. And I have literally all of these races, full vlogs, all the training, all on my YouTube channel. So if you're new and you haven't watched those yet, they're all there. I believe they're in playlists too. So from there, I had signed up for another half marathon. I want to say like 6 months later. My first one was in November of 2023. My next one was in May 2024. And right now it's May 2025, and I'm doing the same half as last year now. So let's just take a pause for the timeline here. My first 1 mile run was May 2023. Guys, to the dot. It is May 15th, 2025 right now. May 15th, 2023 was my first run ever. Mile run. You guys, this feels kismet. That is weird. And my ring light died. Guys, I don't know what any of this means, but I should probably get a ring light. Hold on. Sorry if the lighting is a little bit different. I had to totally pivot because that ring light died. So I'm using a different one. Okay, that was all very weird. So 2 years ago today, I ran my first mile ever. My first 5K ever was then May 28th. So within a matter of weeks, I had gotten up to a 5K. So from 1 to 3 miles. I think at that point, Nike Run Club kind of like added a mile every week to the long run. So that was in May. I was like secretly thinking of maybe doing a half marathon, hadn't, signed up for anything yet. And then in June, I had Grace Lee on my podcast, and that is when I decided, let's sign up for a half marathon in November. So I was correct. That was about 5 months of training. I believe I had officially done like a 16-week plan, but I was doing the 0 to half marathon over, 6 months, just like secretly. You know when you have an idea, but you don't want to like admit it out loud yet or sign up yet because then you have to do it. So that's kind of what it was. So then come November 2023, I did my first half marathon, did not care about pace or anything. I didn't even know, you guys, I didn't know if I ran fast, if I ran slow. Obviously, I assumed slow, but people were pretty impressed. But I had no idea. I didn't even think I could run a mile. So just running to run 13.1 miles, not even looking at my pace the whole time. Those were the days. I do not put any pressure on your pace your first race ever. That is like my biggest advice, because no matter what you run it at, you're PRing. PR means a personal record, like your personal best. So after that, then you know, every race have a chance to beat that and PR or not, which who cares? That's a whole other conversation. But like your first race, you've never done it before. Just do it to do it, vibe out. After that, you're going to want to like get competitive with yourself. Usually it's kind of how it goes. So that was my first race in November. Then I signed up for the Brooklyn Half Marathon because I was like, next time I want to do it where like I can see my friends and family. We were in Philly. I was kind of just there for Ethan. There was really no one other than Ethan there at the finish line for me, which was amazing. But I was like, I want to run one in New York. Like I want my friends to see me. So ended up doing the Brooklyn Half, and I had such a committed goal of beating 2 hours. So I'm going through every race because I want to now kind of go through each of the different training styles I did. And this could be a whole separate video. So let me know if you want more details on this. I will just kind of run through each race and how I trained for it really briefly because I did something different every single time, and I have so many takeaways from this, but I don't want this video to be a half hour, so I'll keep it brief. From 0 to my first half, I did the Nike Run Club. Now for my second half, I had the intention of beating 2 hours. So I had worked one-on-one with a run coach. Her name is Lizzie Pepper. She is amazing. Please reach out to her, let her know I sent you, DM her, all the things. And this was virtual coaching. So we would meet, I think it was it once a month or once a week? Maybe bi-weekly? I really don't remember. I think it was every single week we would meet on Zoom. She had used something called FitSurge where all of my training was mapped out in a website. And after I would finish a run, my Garmin watch was connected to that website. So she could see exactly what I did for that run, which was great. The awesome part about working one-on-one with someone is like I would text her, I'm having period cramps, or I'm injured, or I actually did have like a shin problem at that point because I had used the wrong shoes. She was an expert at sneakers because she had worked at a sneaker store before. So just being able to ask 1,000,001 personalized questions and like, I'm traveling this week. Should I skip this run? And she would just like rejigger the whole schedule for me. So that was really amazing. And just being able to kind of get introduced to fuel for the first time. I don't think I fueled my first half marathon. I don't think I even knew what a gel was. I'm so serious. Yeah, I don't think I did at all. So then working with a coach this time for a certain pace, she taught me all about fuel and gels and when to take them and worked with me on hour by hour what I should do that morning. And we did a pep talk the night before. And so I just really loved that. And then came the full marathon. And I ended up hitting my goal literally 1 hour and 59 seconds. I couldn't believe it. At mile 9, my legs were so heavy. Ethan called me and was like, you're slowing down. Like, are you okay? And had to motivate me. But we did it. We did it. What I learned from that race was I went out way too fast. I got way too excited. Ethan joined in with me at one point and I was like, sup, 2 hours, baby. And I got like way too excited. It was rookie mistake. But I took that into the full marathon, and I would say I handled marathon training and doing the actual marathon so perfectly. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that ever again. But if I do say so myself, I handled my first marathon like a pro. So let's get into that real quick. I actually worked with a team. So I had also on my podcast the founders of Master My Run. There's Heather, the exercise specialist. She was doing like my strength training plan, my running plan. And then there's Jason, who is a sports dietitian. He's helping me lock in my fueling, how many electrolytes I need, my sweat rate variability, all the nutrition things. And it was deep coaching and nutrition integration. So I had access to them at all times through a portal. We would do one Zoom with each of them separately a month, and it was nitty gritty. And the best part was Heather not only did my running plan, but she really locked in on my strength training plan. And had I not worked with her, I probably would have ditched strength training altogether. That is like my biggest thing with running all these races. It's really hard with your fatigue from the runs and the mileage that you have to get in to motivate yourself to do the strength training. But it's so necessary for injury prevention and strength in your running and all of that. So they actually gave me a code. So they're actually also doing a group workshop, which is more cost effective. And I'm doing it just so that I can get some key learnings for you guys, honestly. They're doing a marathon training workshop. So I think it's like a 6-week program. You meet once a week and they go over a different topic every week. So if you're trying to like train on your own or with an app, but you want some like guidance on fueling and all the things, they are doing a 6-week program. You can get, I will put all the links in the description. You can get 10% off the workshop and also 10% off all of their services, including the one-on-one coaching I was telling you that I did with them, with code JENLAUREN. So master my run. I couldn't recommend them more. Reach out to them, tell them I sent you, ask them any questions you want, and then when you sign up, you can use JENLAUREN for a discount. But that is how I trained for the marathon. And I would say the biggest thing with the marathon as opposed to any of my half marathons is it really takes over or took over for me my entire life. And it's because I loved it so much, to be honest. Like, I think there is a world in which you can, you know, maybe not allow it to do that. But if you are so motivated to do it right and you love it, I just wanted to feel so good on my long runs. I wanted to crush every week of training. And so I never wanted to sacrifice that with a big night out drinking on a Friday before a long run, or, you know, unless it was a wedding or something. I isolated a little bit, and like I was kind of loving that. It was just like the season of my life at that point. Ethan and I were both training and our lifestyles were totally aligned, and me and him were just like, let's order in and hydrate for our long runs tomorrow. And then Saturday night we're both starving and feeling accomplished from our long runs. Let's get a big meal. So it was a big like me and Ethan in this together kind of year, which was amazing. But I will say, coming off the heels of that this year, everyone was so supportive of my marathon. Everyone was so supportive of me getting engaged. It all happened around the same time. So I was like, I miss my friends. I don't think they felt my absence at all, but I was like, I just miss being social and not caring so much. And so now, even with training for a half marathon right now, I feel like I have my life back, but I miss being in my marathon bubble too. So pros and cons. Maybe next time I'll be able to get a little bit of both in there. But I really fell in love with marathon training. I did. I loved progressing every week. I was so in touch with like, this is my first 15-mile run, first 16, first 17, first 20. Like, every run was an exciting, this is my first this. And I do think I will feel that excitement again, because it's going to be like a 2-year difference between my next one. So I'm going to have to kind of, I'm maintaining running through half marathons and whatnot, but it's a different beast. It really is. And you are not going to be in marathon shape all the time. But man, there is no feeling like getting to that starting line and being like, I did all of my long runs. I did everything I needed to do. And now I'm here and I earned this. And there's no more exciting feeling than the energy of a marathon in New York City. Like, wow. Best day of my life. Go watch all of those vlogs, honestly. Those are some videos I'm so proud of because I was so obsessed and passionate. And honestly, do not run a marathon if you're not super excited, because I know people who sign up just to sign up, or they got in the lottery and they're miserable the whole time. You have to have the excitement of like, I want to dedicate myself to this. So that is one thing I will say, as opposed to a half marathon. It is a different kind of beast. You dedicate your life to it, truly. Your whole lifestyle kind of shifts for the time being, but hopefully that's exciting to you. And so before I kind of get into like the finish line and how I'm approaching this year and my latest half and all that, I did just want to touch on body image. When I first started training, and if this triggers you, cut to the next, I'll have chapter markers so you can skip this section. But my first half marathon ever, like I said, I had never ran before. So I cut a lot of inflammation when I started running. I really liked how it looked. I remember right before my first half marathon, I got engaged, and I just remember feeling really good in my skin, and just like my face was less puffy and I just felt really less inflamed. Cut to my second half marathon. That's like the worst I've felt in my body in a long time. I think when you're running a half marathon, there's a lot of like water retention from all the runs and the stress you're putting on your body and the mileage, and you're so hungry, so you're eating and you retain a lot of bloat. And I think people expect kind of what I experienced for my first half to just like cut and slim and all the things, but you really need to fuel your body, especially when you're half marathon training, you care about performance. You got to fuel your body. I think I almost overfueled at that point. Like, I was so hungry all the time. I was like, carbs, like half marathon training. And I was fueling as if I was running a marathon, honestly. And I think I overdid it, to be quite frank. And I did not like how I looked. I'm just going to be completely honest, but I accomplished my goal, and that's all that matters. And then I did things that made me feel good after, and it was fine. But I do remember kind of like looking at pictures from race day being like I didn't feel my most confident. I'll put it that way. And then when it came to marathon training, to be honest with you, I was saying to my nutritionist, I'm seeing all these TikToks saying you gain weight in marathon training as a woman. And like, I'm just getting scared because I didn't love how I looked in the half marathon. Is this going to happen to me like times 10 in the marathon? Like, TikTok is scaring me, right? If you're watching this video, you've probably seen those videos. And basically he was like, you just have to eat the right carbs and the right things and just track and monitor, but you really need to be fueling yourself. Like, I don't want you to obsess. And I was like, you know what? I'm honestly, that's why I gave a trigger warning. I don't get triggered by this stuff. I'm a very matter-of-fact person. I never dealt with, disordered eating or anything like that, if I'm completely honest. So I'm not sensitive around this stuff. I'm like, doc, tell me what I got to do. So like, I want the facts. I want the information. I don't get obsessed aggressive. Like whatever. I'm just not like that. I eat balanced. I'm good. I eat when I want to eat unhealthy, and I eat healthy when I want to feel healthy. I'm a pretty intuitive eater in that way. But anyway, what I did for the marathon was I tried to just eat a lot of really good carbs. So I tried not to eat bottomless, calories and bags of chips and candy and stuff like that when I was starving throughout the week. I tried to, I'm going to be way hungrier during marathon training than I am like on a normal week. And so I would have midday like a huge Greek yogurt parfait instead of snacking on candy and all these things that you want to grab for when you're starving. So I kind of just tried to focus on eating nutritional snacks, eating when I was hungry, eating way more than I ever have because I was so hungry and marathon training and I needed the fuel, but focusing on like what it was I was eating so that I didn't feel like crap. But then like, of course, after your long runs on Saturdays, like go to town. But I'm just saying on the regular day to day, I think the weight gain probably comes from just being like, I'm running so many miles, who cares? And I'm starving and just like eating whatever is in sight. But I tried to like still cook my meals and make sure I was eating like bottomless sourdough instead of eating bottomless Lay's chips, whatever. I'm just saying I felt really good in my skin during marathon training. I was fueling properly. I was eating all the things. I was eating my ramen after a long run, but during the week, I just tried to eat as much as I could and eat when I was hungry, but eat well, if that makes sense. And by well, I just mean like nutritionally dense. I don't mean like no carb or anything. This is such a sensitive topic. I'm going to move on. Anyone else get like nervous around that topic? I'm just trying to keep it real, but I don't get sensitive around that stuff. So I'm just nervous if other people do, Moving right along, I did just want to touch on that because if you're doing this for weight loss or any of the things, it might be triggering if you're gaining weight because you really need to fuel. So like if you have maybe a disordered relationship with food, I would just maybe seek out like Master My Run to work with a nutritionist and like just make sure that you're not overthinking the fueling in any way. All that to say, best day of my life. When I got to that finish line, I was like, oh, I get it now. Because when I ended my first half marathon, there's literally a video of me saying, I can't believe that's only half of a full marathon. Looking back at myself being so scared to sign up for my first half and thinking after it, oh my God, I can't believe people do that twice. It's like so funny being on the other side now when people say that. I'm like, you could do it. It's just crazy how quickly you can change by just like following the plan. So just quickly cutting to now, it is May 15th. I am running my half marathon in 2 days from now. And I don't really have a pace goal. This is my first half marathon since the fall. So I'm hoping that I can hold a pace for longer. I don't know. I'm hoping to PR. I think I will. I really do, but you really just never know. It's also supposed to rain, so I don't know. But I don't want to be staring at my pace the whole time either. I kind of want to move intuitively, so I don't know. We'll see. Come back for race week vlog, race day vlog, the TikToks, all the things, and you'll see how I did. I am once again training in a new way for this half marathon. So this time around, I am testing out the Endorphins app. Endorphins is a run club and they're in a bunch of cities, but they now also have a training app that was completely curated by run coaches, experts, and it's also so individualized. Like it's connected to my Strava. So when I complete a run on my training plan, it'll see exactly what I did from Strava. It'll give me a score on how I accomplished that run. And it will also update my plan. So let's say, there's literally an I'm injured button. Like it is so customizable. It will update the plan and you put in your recent race times, your goal race times, all of it. Like it is so well curated. And so I'm loving that. They actually just launched it officially this week. I've been like testing it out for them. And you can get 50% off lifetime access with their code until like June 15th, I want to say. It's like for their first month of launch. And that code is Train with Friends. It also comes with a 2-week free trial. And then you can use my code, which I think is 10% off and a free trial, which is Jen after that. So the 50% off is a way better deal. But if you're watching this after a month in, you can use my code Jen. So just wanted to shout that out. All that to say, life after 26.2 miles. I think the biggest takeaway I've gotten from this running journey is just a newfound confidence. Nothing will make you feel more confident than finishing like a 20-mile run on your own. There's no crowds at that point. Like the marathon is almost easier because you have so much motivation and excitement, but doing like a 21-mile run on your own, girl, nothing will give you more confidence than saying you can't do something and then doing it anyway and getting it done well. And I just think I'm a more confident person overall. Like I really do. I feel like a badass. I just feel it's confidence. That's all I can say. The confidence is next level. And I am just so excited to see where else this takes me. Yes, I want to run another marathon. I want to run New York again. I don't think anything will compare to the energy of New York, especially me being from here. I know, like, I knew people in every borough. Like, I knew people all along the course, and I don't think anything will beat that. But I would also love to, like, go travel and make a trip out of it and run one with Ethan. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where this journey takes me. I'm definitely spreading them out. I was not supposed to run a race this year. I'm running this one with New Balance. So I was like, sure, let's do it. But I'm not doing a marathon this year. It's wedding year. Like I said, it kind of takes over. So I'm not doing that to myself wedding year. But next year, it's like travel central, maybe marathon central, who knows? So I'm excited to see where this takes me. Comment down below if you are training for your first race. Comment down below what that race is so I can cheer you on that day. Let me know if you want to deep dive into anything I spoke about today, and more videos to come. I love you all. Subscribe if you're new.